Hey Thea, how's it going?
Hey Shakira, it's good.
Good. I'm really excited for your webinar on June 19th. But first, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your astrology practice?
Yes, happy to. Okay, so my name is Thea Anderson. I'm an astrologer and a writer. And I think to sort of encapsulate my astrology practice, it's really thinking about using astrology to tell like better stories is what I always come back to. And that's sort of what propelled me to study in the first place was sort of this reading a lot about the stars, but through the lens of other people. And I reached a point where I was like, well, I want to speak this language. Like I want to understand it so that I can formulate like my own viewpoint and sort of peel back the veil or the layer of interpretation. And so I think that my practice is always trying to really get to the heart of something. It feels very heart centered. I'm a traditional bread and butter traditional astrologer, but I like to, and I think I leave room for woo and magic, and through that, I think that there is some healing that I really connect with, especially in like one-on-one consultations, but also through writing about the planets.
Awesome. Cool. So you are open for readings, is what I'm trying to say.
I am open for readings, although it's more of like word of mouth. I don't really promote them just because
Gotcha.
it's like space, but I think that's the best way to learn, and it's like one of the things that's most fulfilling to me is the one-on-one.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. And do you have like a blog or anything that you're writing on currently?
I should do more writing.
I mean, you're so busy. It's
It's crazy. I
no
have so
shits
many.
here.
I think I do have a blog. So I have a website at Thea Michelle, and it has like my writing, and then I have a tab for Astro Tarot too.
Cool.
Um, and so sometimes my blogs are like just like writing musings, like more just straight blog, and then some of it is more like astro content, like looking at charts.
Awesome. Cool. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your webinar? Because the whole reason, well, the reason I reached out to you to do this webinar is because I saw you wrote an article for the Mountain Astrologer. Um, and I was just like, we need to get Thea in. So tell
Okay.
us a little bit more about that.
Yes, I was so excited when you asked me because first of all, like I am a Black woman from Texas, and Juneteenth is something that I grew up with. And so to see this sort of like, even just within the culture right now, how the story of Juneteenth is becoming more prominent. Like I just remember being amazed last year. Um, my employer then like gave us Juneteenth off, and I was like, wait, people know about this. Like, and then there was a New York Times article, and it just seemed to really come to the surface. And so Juneteenth has always meant a lot to me because it's like it so encapsulates how Black people took like a raw deal and like celebrated that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what really strikes home to me is like um sort of, we could have been like, man, that really sucks, like 2.5 more years of enslavement after the Emancipation Proclamation. But like, no, this is the day where we're gonna like drink red Kool-Aid and like eat good food in the park and like really just embrace it and be like, this is our day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my July 4th.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And I think like, and through the lens of astrology, like, again, this goes back to like, what kind of astrologer am I? And like really thinking about this, it's really helps me to peel back the layer of white supremacy, of stories that center whiteness. It's like me as a Black woman, like we have astrology, which just constantly amazing me and so beautiful and stunningly revealing things that like at all turns. And now I can use it to like, I really like going back into history. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like looking forward, but I think my Saturn South Node in Scorpio is like, no, boo, like, let's investigate
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah.
So that's what really I feel called to do with astrology.
Awesome. So your webinar, which is going to be on Juneteenth, if
Yeah.
anyone didn't already understand, get that. um, yeah, tell us more about what you're going to be talking about.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be like two-part, and so that we'll be in dialogue about what I wrote in the Harriet Tubman article, but just sort of more expanding it. There's so much that I didn't include because it wasn't 10 pages.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I thought it could have been a book.
I
But
mean,
right, like years from now, I'm like, that's how this started. But I really, um, I think I'm always really intrigued about the way that our people, my people, have looked to the stars, have used divination um, to free themselves, to um, for agency, uh, and all of this um, as we were prevented from reading, separated, not allowed to gather, had to put things in code. It just, every time I talk about it, it's just so inspiring and motivating. And I really want the webinar to talk about the ways that I see it play out with Harriet Tubman, I see it play out with Frederick Douglass, I see it play out also in terms of Juneteenth and it being primarily, a Texas celebration at first. Thinking about the ways that Black people in Texas, enslaved people, used we're going to use astrology to look at the charts of some important events. So one of the premise of my novel has to do a lot with convict leasing that happened in the Sugar Bowl in Texas. And that recently came up like in 2018, it sort of resurfaced. I had already started research on that because it's like where I grew up.
mm-hmm.
And in 2018, we discovered what's called the Sugarland 95, where the remains of men and women, basically children as well, who were enslaved after slavery, that still continued to go on through harvesting and cultivating sugarcane. And so really interested in the way that these stories get buried and then come back to life, like that resurfacing energy to me. That was very like Saturn, Pluto, Capricorn, like, yeah, that all. And I think right now with the eclipses and Sag and Gemini, like really thinking about what stories do we tell ourselves about what it means to be Americans, and like what is the truth underneath that. And I think both are important, but we have to realize what we're engaging with. Are we engaging with the myth, or are we engaging with the facts? And can we bring them together and hold both? I just feel really passionate about that. I'm tired of fake stories. And I want everyone to feel empowered to, through research, through the Gemini, through the fact checking, find a story that empowers them. And like, that's ultimately like what I come back to.
Hell yeah. I love this. I'm so excited for your webinar. So yeah, that's going to be June 19th, this upcoming Saturday. It is at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, if you can't make it live, you will get the replay pretty much right away. So hope to see you there, or hope to see you catch the replay. Thank you so much, Thea. I'm really looking forward to this.
Thank you. I appreciate it.